Get ready to
It's
see
called
it
a
now.
push-up kiss. Guys, guess what we're making today?
Japanese souffle pancake.
Michael won't let me whisk. Guys, we kind of failed, or Beba would say extremely failed on the souffle pancakes, but I take the blame. I kept telling Michael that we were putting too much flour.
Next time, this thing is gonna be excellent. Excellent. What's up, guys? We're here. We're ready for Tough Mudder. There's Gabby O's right there. She's ready to do all the obstacles. She's gonna be ready to be a ninja warrior today. Here with my broski over here too. There you go. Guys, we just finished Tough Mudder. Yeah.
Chris did it with
Chris did it with a rolled knee. I mean ankle, not rolled that knee. Since mile 3, and this is mile 10. We're champions.
We faced our fears.
We did it.
Oh my gosh.
Who
Sneak peek of
is
Tough Mudder.
this cute girl that is scared of these electric current thingies?
No, but guys, seriously, so at the end of the course, there was a section where there was, what do you call it, barbed wires?
This is not barbed wires.
Guys, it was scary. It was like literally wires hanging, but you have to run through water. And so Michael was like, just run through it. I was like, no, I do not want to run through it.
No, these wires, so guys, these wires have like, if you touch their ends, they electrocute you.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
basically
much.
intense.
They'll
so
electrocute
Michael
you.
literally just ran across and
I
got
just
shocked.
ran across,
but
then
I literally
you see Gabby again.
carefully.
You know, she's just so sweet. On
No,
this
I
thing.
carefully. I made sure I didn't hit a wire, so I carefully like snuck through.
Guys, you see right here, your boy ran to make sure that there were people sitting on like lawn chairs and stuff, and you know your boy was like, once this thing finishes loading, oh, I am not that lady. Here you go. You see that boy right there? You see that? You see your boy is running through to give people a show. You know.
So, babe, what was your most hardest course that you think you did at Tough Mudder? I think I know.
The hardest course
It's evident, y'all.
was, I mean, you talking about the one where I just fell straight on the, so y'all, there was one where you're supposed to jump and grab ropes
Hold
and then
up.
climb the ropes.
Before you go into that, so guys, literally, so in Tough Mudder, there's a level up version and then there's the regular version. So there was one where basically, like, you basically have to run and jump on the rope and hold on to it like a rope net. And Michael goes, because the line was really long for the regular one, he goes, let's do the level up one. And guys, no one was at the level up line. I'm like, are you serious? Like, no. It's called level up for a reason. And this guy was like, it's easy, it's easy. So I stayed back and stayed in the regular line, but Michael tried, and tell them what happened.
So guys, I tried, and your boy was straight up silly.
He literally jumped and fell in the water.
I thought that I grabbed it. I thought I grabbed
Guys,
it.
he even tried twice.
But guys,
and he
like
failed.
sensory overload happened, and then all of a sudden I'm just inside the water.
See, I had wisdom.
Yeah.
I stayed.
But my favorite one, hardest one, had to be not the funky monkey, but the other upper body one.
Oh yeah, there was one called the ringlets.
Oh, the ringlets? Yeah, well, so like you have to go through like a balance beam, and then you have to cross again, and then you have to swing through rings, and then you have to do this like Ninja Warrior-esque, like, oh, you're in like a pull-up form, and you have to keep on sliding to the right and hold on to like these little knobs and stuff and whatnot.
Once we get
That one was
pictures,
the
we'll
favorite.
share it to you guys.
Yeah, so but next year I'm gonna conquer that one that I fell in.
So for me, I think my hardest one was definitely the funky monkey. I didn't even attempt it. And the ringlet one, I didn't attempt it either because it was super hard. And basically, the first part of the obstacle, you have to like do monkey bars, but it's like on an incline. So I was afraid that I was gonna fall and hit my head. So I didn't even attempt it. Although I tried, and Michael was like, just stop, move, go. My favorite one, I have to say, was the mud one, believe it or not. You know, I actually didn't mind getting dirty. It was fun. They had one where there was a bunch of hills, and you have to climb up the hill, then go in mud, climb up the hill, go in mud. So it gave me a lot of, like, adrenaline after that. And the water's cold, y'all. But I found that after each obstacle, it boosted me more energy to keep running, because it was a 10-mile, guys. Like, we did a 10-mile version, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun. Hey guys,
Welcome to our road trip to Georgia,
guys, we're back at it. We're going back to Georgia,
where we celebrated our honeymoon part 1. Now we're gonna celebrate our anniversary this Sunday, y'all.
I know, just last night we were looking back at our old vlog video.
Yeah, your boy was skinnier.
But you're so muscular now. Look at him.
Yeah, muscular.
You guys, I got skinnier, which is good. Yeah, Michael was like laughing at my face.
I was not laughing at your face. I was laughing at something that you said or did.
Sure, don't lie before the Lord.
Before the Lord knows.
But anyways, guys, we wanted to go on and also just talk about just reflecting back in the year and reflecting on God's goodness. I think it's so important that we do that, because although many of us may be excited for the new year starting, I also believe that many of us may be fighting discouragement for things that didn't happen this year, or things that we expected and wanted to happen but we don't see it happen. I mean, I know, Michael and I were recently reflecting on the past year, and there are definitely a lot of unmet expectations that had happened this year, and it has at moments caused us to be discouraged. But as we enter this new year, we want to encourage you to look back at the highlights, right? It can be easy to beat ourselves down and only think of the negative stuff, but we really want to look back and think of the highlights. What are some things that we learned this year? What are some things that we have grown in the Lord in? What are some areas in our lives in this year that God has moved, right? Like, start reflecting so that we start creating a heart of gratitude. And as we enter this new year, and as we enter 2020 with making new goals, we can make new goals with a heart of gratitude, right? And we can start making faith-filled goals. Because if we're discouraged, we're gonna be discouraged in making the visions and goals that God has for us. We're not gonna be able to dream big and have a positive outlook. So it's very important in this next few weeks, and as we close off December, or maybe you're watching now and it's January, like, continue to reflect on what God has done, think of His goodness, and allow that overflow of gratitude and remembering God's faithfulness to encourage you to create your next goals, to start dreaming big with God again, to continue to tread on the vision that God has and will give to you in 2020.
Yeah, guys, gratitude is absolutely essential to the life of the Christian. And I was reading Philippians today, and I love it. I mean, we're supposed to constantly be in it, but it talks about rejoice in the Lord. I say rejoice always, and you see that riddled throughout scriptures always, and it can be definitely difficult to rejoice when there are things that have discouraged, when hope deferred, all of these matters, all of these things. And so if you guys don't even ponder or think about a highlight, ask God, go with Him and be like, Lord, like, what is a highlight that happened this year, God? Like, make me to know that I may give you gratitude, that I may rejoice in you, because there should always be that sign, that heart of rejoicing in the Lord.
And I love that verse too, because I was this morning reading the Passion Translation, and it talks about how, like, we should never be worried or anxious, but be saturated with faith-filled, I think it was saturated.
Yes, saturated.
Be saturated with faith-filled requests before the Lord, overflowing with thankfulness. And I love it, like, faith-filled requests, right? And the NIV talks about how, like, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, through prayer and petition, bringing your request to God. And so, like, there may be, promises that haven't been met yet from the Lord, but God had spoken to you that He will bring that to pass. Like, use this time to, like, continue to, like, to give thanks and, like, make those requests to God, believing with faith. Because discouragement, like hope deferred, makes the heart sick. When we're so filled with discouragement, we don't even have the energy to give thanks or even ask God for it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to enter the new year like that. We want to enter the new year strong. And we want to, take the time as well to share, our journey and what, some of the highlights that God's done and what we're learning too.
Yeah, guys, like, I graduated Jesus school in May.
And it feels like it happened last year, right?
It really feels, yeah, it feels like since May till now, like, time just shot. But I thought, so I was wondering, like, Lord, did you want me to go back to second year? And He confirmed, like, not to be in second year. And so I've just been so focused on, okay, Lord, like I know you've called me into art, so let's just start this. Let's get this business on the way as well. And so I thought in my heart that my expectation was that things were just going to flourish. And so there were prophetic words and certain things that were spoken over my life, in which I'm still holding on to.
Right.
And those words essentially would signify that like the things that my hand would go to work on, that they would prosper and whatnot. And so I was really, really adamant about it. And it turned out between May and now, there really hasn't been, although the quality in my work has increased, like I believe tenfold. Like the Lord is amazing.
Oh yeah, that. And even faster too.
And even working on things faster. Although I've seen the quality, I haven't seen the finances necessarily come into that. And so it served to discourage me for quite a bit, because I wasn't realizing like, okay, maybe this is just not the right thing. I have to re-strategize and all those things. But then the question in my mind was like, well, Lord, I thought you were going to prosper it. And so I was more so inclined to, I guess, have a sense of entitlement where I was thinking the Lord has to answer to my timeline. The Lord has to answer to what it is that I'm expecting, and I can't have it any other way, which has led to moments of the despair, moments of like, Lord, like, are you really here? Are you really there? But praise God that we serve a God who actually, like, if we bring our troubles and things to Him, He's so faithful to speak truth that ultimately changes the heart towards the better. And so I close with this. I've learned now since May, God has really been teaching me perseverance and patience. And also to just trust in Him. The Psalm 37, we have a verse that the Lord told us to hold on to. But Psalm 37, I forget which verse, but it's pretty much commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in the Lord and do good. Commit your ways and He shall direct your paths. And also dwell in the land and feed on His faithfulness. And so like knowing that, like dwelling in the land, like dwelling in the promises of God as well. And knowing that God is faithful, for He cannot deny Himself even if we were faithless. And so I'm super stoked for what this new year is gonna bring, and the best way to get out of the rut.
We are stoked.
Yeah, super stoked. I'm super stoked with the art. I'm super stoked to see my wife, like with her challenge and discovery of purpose and living revelations. And so we're super stoked. But it really did take me really coming to that place of, wait, this is simple. Like, I'm supposed to rejoice in the Lord always. I'm supposed to give thanks. If right now I'm in a rut and I'm discouraged, God, here it is. Help me process it with you. I want to give thanks. I want to be of a cheerful heart. I want to rejoice always. Teach me how to do this, because it is He that works in us for His will and for His pleasure. And so if it's Him, then like the Philippian verse says, like it says, verse right after that in Philippians 2 or 3, I forget, do everything without complaint and without dispute. And there's reason for that, because it's the Lord that works in us to do the very things that bring Him pleasure. And those things should never be mingled with complaints or dispute. And so guys, that's my part. What about you, Gabby?
Well, I wanted to also touch upon how the other day we were just reflecting on highlights. And it's crazy, like as we were just thinking about what God's done, so much has happened this year that we thought was like the year before.
Yo, for real.
Like in January, like we went to Chicago. In May, we were able to go to Singapore for a missions trip, and then Japan for a honeymoon. We recently went to California for a conference, and like just seeing like all these things happen, like God's faithfulness and how He even provided the funds for us to be able to go to those trips. Without like, and to be honest with you guys, like we are still working on creating sustainability, like sustainability and finances. Yet God still opened the door for us to do those things, and we had received a prophetic word, I think early this year or last year. Sorry, I'm trying to remember when we got the word, but we had the word from Larry Reese where he says that like, the Lord will take you to places you've never been.
Oh, February.
Yeah, and I know it's not done. We're still like, there's still more places God's taking us, and that He's speaking to us as well. But just like thinking about like His faithfulness and how He's been there and how He's provided, just like reminds about how even though there are unmet expectations, like God's faithfulness is still there. And sometimes we can allow unmet expectations to make us forget His faithfulness. But just because we may have an unmet expectation, like God's process, God's way is not always our way, right? And we shouldn't allow like our unmet expectations to discourage us that God isn't with us or that God didn't come through, because like his timing and process, there's a process and timing to his ways. And this morning I was reading devotional talking about transition, right? Like the transition in our lives is what will bring the transformation and promote us, to where God wants us to be. And so like let us continue to dwell on the highlights. What are some things that God has done, that God has grown us in? And like what Michael was saying, I believe that the Lord has also taught me in perseverance, but also seeing him as my source of joy and hope and gratitude. Because when things are not going your way, it can be easy to be like, well, I have no reason to be thankful, I have no reason to be joyful. But in those moments, like I feel like the moments where I felt dry, the moments where I felt like I have had unmet expectations, I'm just diving in deeper into his love. So I feel like I've been rooted more in him than ever before. And just like persevering and trusting God. I think the trust aspect as well, God's really teaching me that like we're his children, and no matter what I'm going through, I can trust him, because he's called us to this life. He's called us to get married. He's called us to transition out of our full-time jobs. So we can trust God in that. So yeah, we want to encourage you guys to take this time to reflect, look back. What are the highlights that God has done in your life? What are some things that he has done and he's growing in you? And start asking the Lord to give you, a perspective of what to look forward to. What are some of the purposes that he has for your life? If you guys are married, like together, right? It's not about individually, you guys have your own vision. What is the vision God has for your marriage? The purpose that God has for you, right? Because when God created Adam and Eve, it was for them to take care of the garden together, right? It wasn't like they had separate roles. God created Eve to help Adam with the vision that he had for them. So if you guys are married, like also seek the Lord, clarifying vision to enter in 2020, because I really believe, I know a lot of people have been saying this, but I also believe that 2020 is a year where we're going to be able to see rightly, 2020.
Lord help me. I want to see rightly, God.
He's driving, by the way. But anywho, we hope you guys have been blessed with
Can I
this.
add one more thing
Yes.
before we go? Yeah, guys, if you're forgetful like me, I can be quite forgetful sometimes. Take the time every week or even once a month and just reflect on that week or that month, depending on your consistency on what it is. And just reflect on like, okay, what has God done this month or this week?
I like weekly, that's good.
And so that then you can keep a track record in a sense. It can be easy, guys, to like for the year to pass by and think to yourself, oh man, there hasn't been notable accomplishments this year. Oh man, there hasn't been this or that. Because we just forget. I mean, the Israelites, a lot of them back then forgot. And because they forgot, they fell into sin and all kinds of awful junk.
Right.
But we're not in the business of forgetting. And so like if you just take those times to just reflect, we'll be able to get past that and really be able to see God's faithful hand over our lives.
Right.
So yeah, just that. God bless you guys.
This is nostalgic, y'all.
Get ready, guys, for the heavy metal. It's coming.
No!
It's coming.
I'm leaving this car.
Coming in hot, just like the fajita. Right where I live, my life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow.
Guys, check out our Airbnb. This is like so amazing. We got our own room and living room. Over there's a mini kitchen. And Michael, of course, is doing number 2 as usual. Oh my goodness. He's ready.
Going down.
As we're entering Michael's favorite place.
Sweetheart.
Look at all this bread.
My wife, as she eats this amazing peanut butter chocolate delicious. Oh, get it, girl. Get it. How is it?
Wow.
Wow.
Like you need a bite.
Delicious.
my things are at. Michael never asks me anymore. He never does a ring check on me.
Yeah,
if you guys watched our first vlog, you'll notice he's always constantly ring check.
She's so good now.
Yeah, I've grown, y'all, in a year. Guys, we're watching our first video on Michael and Gabby, and this is Michael twitching. Apparently, he was awake praying, but obviously he was sleeping. Guys, oh my gosh, we have 96 subscribers. Look how cute we are. I literally just asked Michael, if you saw this couple here, would you want to follow them?
And I said yes. Gabby really wanted 100 subscribers before the end of the year, y'all. So if you haven't subscribed yet, we only need 4 more at the time of this recording.
Yes, so go check out Michael and Gabby on YouTube and subscribe.
All right, y'all. It's time. What day is it today, baby?
Our anniversary date.
Ooh, and guys, you know what happens on anniversary day? There is a cake called the anniversary cake.
Guys, I don't know if this is going to taste good, but it's been literally a year.
It's been literally by a year. Thank you, Titi Elaine,
But
for
who
making
knows?
this cake. Wow, it looks really good.
It's a red velvet cake.
All right. Ooh, look at that.
Oh my God, it looks good, though.
Oh my goodness.
Wow,
After
guys.
one entire year.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
Yes, guys, I'm excited. I'm ready to throw it down. Guys, it was that good that Gabby is going back in. This girl's like, yo,
I'm gonna destroy this
she just
cake.
wants that cream in the middle. Alright.
We're watching Lady and the Tramp.
Aww.
Bon appetit.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Just came home from Jesus 19 conference. I was literally about to jump on the bed and hug my hubby, but he smells so bad.
Guys, like, your boy was sweating. So she was like ready to hug me right here in the armpit area. And like, you guys probably smell it right now through your cell phones. If you have the scented technology on your cell phones now. But it's bad. I mean, we were up since what? The crack of dawn.
I can't even sit next to you, but you. Yeah, we were serving for 4 days. Sorry for my hair mess, by the way, but yeah, we were serving for 4 days. We would have 3 to 4 hours of sleep because we also had to watch my parents' house and their dogs.
9 dogs.
But by God's grace, we made it, and the Lord moved mightily as usual.
Seriously, guys, that conference, y'all do not want to miss Jesus.
Yeah, if you guys
20.
don't already, follow
Right.
Jesus Image on Facebook.
Seriously.
Because you can see the live video footage from that too.
So wonderful.